Are you wondering what the best real estate investor CRM is for your business? Well, today I've got a very special interview with the founder and CEO of REsimpli, a real estate investor platform that could be just what you're looking for your business. Let's dive into the interview. Hey everyone, it's Ryan Zomorodi with Real Estate Skills, and today I'm here with Sharad Mehta. He's the founder and CEO of REsimpli. It's a real estate investing software that he founded, which can help you start and grow a real estate investing business. And so today we're just going to dive in to see what REsimpli is all about and see how it can help you in your businesses. So Sharad, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Ryan, for having me on this show. And this is great. Like, we're doing this in person. This is so much better than a Zoom call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we originally wanted to do Zoom, but appreciate you making the long trek out here to the studio.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, really appreciate that. So why don't we just start things off and just let us know, what is REsimpli?
Yeah, so REsimpli is a software for real estate investors, all-in-one software for real estate investors that I started out back in 2015. I moved here from Chicago to Carlsbad area where I live now. I had a pretty active business doing about 40, 50 flips a year. So I started looking at software I would need to run my remote business now. And the couple of requirements that I had, that it be a simple software to use, and it should be an all-in-one. I didn't find anything. Podio was pretty much the only software everyone was using. So I decided to just create something on my own starting like 2017. I hired a couple of developers, just started working on it, and it kind of grew into what it is now. So we help investors manage their entire business from end to end, managing their data and list stacking, dialer, website, CRM, buyers management, and even bookkeeping and accounting within REsimpli. Yeah, so that's what a quick overview of REsimpli.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. It sounds like it's really something that you were doing a high volume of flips in, you said Illinois?
And I was living in Chicago, but I was flipping in Indiana, right outside of Chicago.
Got it. So you were doing long distance flipping, you were doing some different real estate investments.
Right.
And so you felt like, hey, I needed something to help me manage my business. And so was there a particular pain point that you were having that spawned this software, or was there like something that you were looking to solve that you weren't getting out there in the marketplace?
I think the biggest pain point was, like, Podio was pretty much like predominantly what everyone was using. I didn't like the way Podio looked. It was just clunky, and you would have to go out and get all these integrations done, like Globiflow, get all these different dialers, website. I just didn't like the idea of it. I just knew that if I had to do that, I'm never going to be motivated to use the software at all. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to create something for myself, very specific to my business. And it had to be simple to use, all in one, and then it had to give good KPIs. That was another thing. Coming from an accounting background, I wanted to be able to make decisions based on numbers and not my gut feelings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of what led me down the path.
Right. So it sounds like you were at a point in your business, you've been doing it for some time, you're doing a high volume of fix and flips. Is this something that new investors would also benefit from? Someone like yourself being in the business, figuring out a solution that helps you, but how would this help someone who's just getting started?
Yeah, it would definitely help. I would say, big majority of our users that are using our platform are like newer investors, are doing like 1 to 2 deals per quarter, just getting started. It helps them basically being organized, right? If you start thinking of your systems from the beginning, it will make your business way more efficient. It will help you take your marketing, stretch your marketing dollar much more than just trying to do everything, putting together like Google Sheets, Notepad, paper, pen, doing all these different things and just trying to save money on, rather than investing in a system, trying to save money. It's just, we've noticed, with countless interactions with other investors, that it's never the right way to go. So definitely with your investor, it helps them be organized. The biggest thing, it automates a lot of things. Imagine you get a lead. Now you don't have to remember when to call that lead, when to text that lead. The system would do that automatically on your behalf. So that's where we notice the number one value that investors get from REsimpli is the follow-up automations.
Totally. And as we know, the fortune's in the follow-up. So if you're letting these leads slip through the crack, then it's probably leaving a lot of money on the table.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's an overused cliche, but it's true. Money is in the follow-up. And if you can be ahead of your competitors in follow-up, you're going to have that deal close rather than your competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the core function of REsimpli is a CRM, is that correct? But there's also other features that adds on. It's not just a contact database.
It started out as a CRM, but now we've expanded into, we offer list stacking, we offer a dialer built in, we offer a seller website. So you don't even need a website, it's included. You get a website to display your wholesale properties all built in. You can manage your contacts, of course. You can send emails, call, text, and do all of that. Yeah, but it started out primarily as a CRM, but we've become a lot more than a CRM now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's super helpful. Were you just getting a lot of feedback, or were you just trying to make it even more comprehensive than when you initially started?
Yeah, I mean, it's based on, like, initially when I started the company, it was out of a personal need, but now honestly, like, REsimpli has grown way beyond my personal need. We have investors all the way from beginners to investors that are doing 40, 50 deals a month using our platform. So a lot of that is coming from the feedback. They're like, hey, I love this part, but it would be great if I could just get rid of another software subscription and then it could be integrated. So that's kind of where it all came from. Like a lot of the stuff that we have in REsimpli, I don't personally use because my business model is different from a lot of the companies that are using our platform, but it has like even driving for dollars is built in. So you don't need a separate app. It's just included in every single subscription. You just go about and start doing deals, and it just, once you start using and you have this seamless integration of everything built in, you don't need a separate app for example, for your CRM, and you're driving for dollar. It's so much easier, it's so much more effective in your business.
Right, right. So speaking of different real estate business models, I mean, who's this best for? Is this really the fix and flipper, kind of like how you started and how this software started out, or is this also for other real estate models?
I would say majority of the investors that are using REsimpli are people that are wholesaling. So we have a good number of people that are doing fix and flip, but I would say majority of them are doing wholesaling. We do have a project management module built in, but it's just the nature of the business that we're in. You're going to have majority of the people doing wholesaling, and then you have some investors doing fix and flip, some doing buy and hold. But majority of the investors that are using our platform are wholesaling these properties. I'd say like 80%, 20% are doing fix and flip.
Okay, got it. What about for those who are acquiring a rental portfolio or maybe even real estate agents? Is REsimpli a good fit for anyone, or is it mainly the investors who are?
It's mainly the investors who are either wholesaling or investors that are buying properties with the intention of either wholesaling or fix and flip is who the software is built for.
Gotcha.
We do have some agents that are using our platform, but it's built very specifically for investors.
Yeah, right on. So a lot of our audience is doing deals on the MLS, leveraging real estate agents to acquire deals, without doing direct to seller marketing. So is REsimpli something that people who are leveraging the MLS to acquire leads and deals, is it something that they could use too?
Absolutely. I mean, I last year or 3 or 4 months ago, I bought a package of 6 properties from MLS. They were listed properties I bought from MLS. A lot of our investors are buying properties from MLS. They're doing a couple of different things. One would be properties that are listed on the market, and then they're adding those agents into the database and then following up with them. Same thing, putting them on drip campaigns. So just think of those, in those cases, the agent would be the seller, but you're following the same process. You're negotiating with the agent instead of the seller. The other thing would be you have expired listings. You do the same thing, get the list of expired listings from MLS and then start marketing to them. But yeah, for the on-market properties, you have a decent number of people that are going after the on-market properties because there's a lot of money to be made. I think just by default, a lot of investors don't go after them because they're just so geared towards going after, hey, I have to buy something off market. But we bought a package of 6 properties. In total, we'll make about $350,000 to $400,000 from those 6 properties. So there's definitely a lot of money to be made from those.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, we are firm believers that there's a lot of money really in any strategy.
Right.
We particularly focus on the MLS because it's very simple. The sellers are already ready to sell, and it's just more about making offers versus generating leads. But there's obviously, a lot of these strategies work. So it's cool to see that REsimpli can kind of address a lot of different things. If you're working the MLS, you can leverage your dialers. You can have somewhere that you can manage your leads, and then certainly the follow-up, the automated follow-up is
yeah, absolutely.
great.
Like think of it, if you're working with an agent, right? It's the same process. You make an offer on the listed property. The agent says, no, the seller wants, let's say instead of 200, the seller wants 225, right? You follow the same process, put them on a drip campaign. If the property is still on the market 30 days later, just say, hey, is the seller interested at 200 now? You just keep doing the same thing and then just keep following up, and then the situation for the seller is going to change sooner or later. So whether it's property that listed on the market or whether it's a property that you're buying directly without listed, it's the same seller. The only difference is one had decided to list the property, the other has decided not to list the property, but their situation hasn't changed in that case.
Gotcha. And so did you mention that you also offer any sort of like direct marketing within the platform? Is there any direct mail or SMS or things like that?
Yeah, they can do direct mail, and they can call from the dialer, single line dialer, and they can also send SMS from the dialer itself. We used to have bulk texting built in, but we decided to sunset on that just because of all the A2P 10DLC regulation.
Right.
It was just getting too crazy to manage all of that. But yeah, they can do direct to seller marketing through direct mail, single line dialer, and then from the single line dialer they can also text.
Yeah, no, that's really helpful.
And of course, they have a website also for reaching out to sellers directly if they wanted to do that.
Gotcha. So let's say someone is working a internet marketing, PPC campaign. Is there also an integration with REsimpli?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I do PPC in my own business. So, I use the website that's built right within REsimpli, but you could use any platform. It doesn't matter as long as, that platform integrates through Zapier. All the leads can come in, and then you can just have the lead come in and automatically be put on a drip campaign. So you don't even have to do anything. The lead comes in, and then just right away it's on a follow-up drip sequence. So the text is going out, it's reminding your team to call, emails going out, direct mails going out as part of it, and then the RVM is going out. So you can do a lot of automations on the follow-up side.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I can really see how that's very helpful for anyone who's pursuing a particular seller or a property. So I guess just taking a step back, just understanding how it works from when you create a phone number,
right,
and you can have different phone numbers for different marketing campaigns,
exactly,
right? So you take that phone number, you can put it on a website, you put it on a postcard, you put it on any sort of marketing, right. And so when somebody calls that number, then that goes directly through the software, exactly. And then from there, that's when you can design, hey, how does this lead actually flow through our system?
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So you're using different phone numbers for different campaigns, exactly like you mentioned. So if you're doing direct mail, you want to use a different phone number on that postcard versus the one that you have on your website. For two things: one, where the lead came from, so you want to have a different follow-up. A lead that comes from a direct mail, you would want to have a different follow-up sequence versus the one that comes from your website would have a different follow-up sequence. But yeah, once you have that in your in REsimpli, then you could let the system take over. You could set a different drip campaign based on the lead source. If it came from a website, you could have a different drip campaign go out. You could have a text go out. Hey, I noticed you just filled out a form on our website. Would love to talk to you about it. If it comes from direct mail, you could have a drip campaign go out. Hey, thank you for calling us from the postcard we sent out. Would love to talk to you about the property that you have at 123 Main Street. So you could do a lot of customization, personalization, and automations with that. That's where we notice the investors make most of the money is follow. Be consistent with the follow-up. The ones that tried for a month and they're like, oh, I didn't get any deals, those are the ones that are never successful.
Totally, yeah. It's all about staying in front of that lead, whether it's a real estate agent, it's a seller, because they might get your postcard and just stash it away in a file. And then once they're ready to sell, hey, maybe they didn't remember where that card is. So if you keep sending them, then you're going to be top of mind. And absolutely, whether it's SMS, whether it's more phone calls or any form of marketing, just being top of mind can really make all the difference between getting the deal and letting it slip
100%. Yeah, I mean, the seller situation is going to change, right? If you send them a direct mail in spring, they may not be interested. But let's say if they live in like Indiana, where I do my investing, but comes the winter time, especially the older folks, their situation changes. So like, oh, I'm tired of the winter. I want to just move out of it. You get one bad winter storm, their furnace stops working, their motivation goes up. So that's where it's all about being consistent with your marketing, staying in front of the sellers. You don't have to do it every day, but once a month, once every other month, once a quarter, depending on whatever your budget allows you comfortable with and the list that you're going after. Just do that, and then that's how you start getting consistent deals, just by being in front of the sellers.
Totally, yeah. Couldn't agree more. And I guess speaking about KPIs and budgets and different lists, I mean, I'm sure you see a lot of different data,
Right.
you see a lot of different markets and investors operating in different locations across the country. I mean, any thoughts from seeing different investors as far as like what mediums are working the best, what marketing mediums, what kind of lists that you're seeing? Is there anything that you've gathered, or is it pretty much different depending
Yeah, I
on where
mean,
you're at?
one thing we've noticed across all investors that are using our platform, from beginning investors all the way to investors that are doing 40-50 deals a month, is at the end of the day, every single marketing channel works. You just have to use it long enough. When someone comes to us and says, hey, which marketing channel should I use, our answer is always the one that you can stick with the longest. If you're going to do direct mail 1 month and then you're going to go try doing MLS deals, then you're going to try doing SMS, then cold calling, then nothing is going to work at the end of the day because you're not giving enough time to anything. It's like going to the gym, right? You can't go to the gym for a couple of weeks and expect to have six-pack abs, right? So it's just about being consistent with the marketing. We've noticed investors getting deals from like YouTube ads, investor getting deals from their car science, everything, SMS, cold calling, everything. Like I do a lot of deals from from MLS. We have investors that are doing deals from MLS. It's just about being consistent. I would say any given marketing channel, you want to give it at least 6 months to make an informed decision whether it worked or it did not work. In most of the times, it will work, but most of the cases, investors just give up after a couple of months because they're expecting results to happen overnight, which doesn't happen. We all know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a paid program. This is a paid software. So I guess just what would someone need to expect as far as like once they have the software, then like what's a realistic budget for someone to just stay consistent through those 6 months and really see it through till they actually get those results, just in your experience?
With the marketing?
Yeah.
I mean, with the marketing, I would say depending on the marketing channel you choose, right? If you're doing MLS, then you don't have a very high marketing budget because you can just you reach out directly to you can find those properties listed on MLS. Then you're just paying for the cost of the software. At that point, like for example, driving for dollars is included. So then your job could be just driving around the neighborhood, seeing any new listed property or any distressed property. Then you're going after that. But if you're doing cold calling, then I would say it depends on your time also, how much time you can allocate to that. But someone doing cold calling or direct mail, I would say like maybe $500 to $1,000 a month, every month, like would be, and if you have good lists that you're going after, then you should be able to get at least 1 to 2 deals in that first 3 to 6 months time period. Again, if you have the best marketing that you're doing, but you pull the wrong list, you pull a list of people that just bought their house in last 6 months, then no amount of marketing is going to get you a deal. Versus if you have the best list in the world and then you send postcard out, but there is no phone number on it, no call to action, then nothing is going to work. So it has to be, you have to pull the right list, and then you have to have the right marketing channel to go after that. Yeah. So I would say $500 to $1,000 a month would be sufficient, depending on, if you're doing direct mail or cold calling, you should be able to get a couple of deals out of in 3 to 6 months time period.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. It's really the quality of the data is ultimately going to determine how effective these campaigns are, the consistency. It's probably less about the marketing message on the individual postcard as much as it is about the list. Obviously customizing it for that type of seller, that type of homeowner. Does REsimpli offer data, or does it offer any sort of list, or would users have to go elsewhere and then bring that data to REsimpli?
Yeah, we don't offer data at this point. So users would have to go outside of the platform to get the data. That's one thing, you could get it from the county. We have driving for dollars. So a lot of people utilize that driving for dollars. They're driving around and adding those distressed properties in the system. But yeah, they would get the list. And then once they have the list, then they can do everything within REsimpli after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of our audience is looking to make genuine connections with cash buyers for wholesaling. Right. So how would REsimpli help with cash buyers and building those relationships?
So on the cash buyer side, we provide a website for you to list your wholesale deals within REsimpli, and then you can also keep a database of all your cash buyers. You can bulk text them, you can send them bulk emails. That's what a lot of investors again, that are consistently doing deals, it's a relationship business. So you have to maintain relationships with your sellers, but you also have to maintain relationships with your buyers. So once you have a website, I think once you have a buyer website where you're listing your properties, the goal would be as soon as you get a property that you have under contract, send that link to your cash buyers, let them know, hey, I have a new property. And then just let them know that you have this website that they can go regularly to check any listed properties that you have. And then just keeping in touch with them, right? Let's say if a property wholesale, you end up selling a property, just let your buyers know, hey, this was a property that we had. It's already under contract, but we'll have a new one coming up. Just maintaining those relationships, texting them, calling them. There's going to be, it's a rule of 80-20. 80% of your deals are going to be bought by 20% of your buyers. So you want to make sure that especially the 20% of your VIP buyers, you're just calling them, texting them. You can do all of that within REsimpli, either the web or the app platform, iOS or Android app, but just about maintaining those relationships, staying in touch with your buyers, letting them know, hey, what kind of properties are you looking for? As the interest rate is going up or down, are their criteria changing? Just staying in touch and then finding whatever your buyers need, just going out and making sure you're finding those kind of properties from your sellers.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And you mentioned marketing the wholesale deal itself to the buyers on the website. So what would that sort of look? What kind of information would the user want to put on that website to make it an attractive deal for the buyer?
You would want to put, the ARV that you've calculated, and then, of course, the price that you're asking for. The more pictures that you put on the website, the better. So it'll be your own custom domain. Let's say for my properties that I'm selling, so it'll be Sharad's wholesale property. So it'll be my domain, but we're just hosting it for you. So every property, the more pictures that you have, the more videos that you have, more information, the higher likelihood that you'll get an offer on that property. And then if you have any documents, like if you have comps from an agent, make sure you put that, to support the ARV number that you have. If you have an estimate from your contractor to support the rehab number, just provide that in the listing. The more description, the more information you provide about your listing, the better it is. A couple of other things we've noticed, and you can do all of this within REsimpli, is putting a timeline on when you a deadline on accepting offers. So if you have a property under contract, you're putting a deadline on, we're accepting offers until, let's say, Friday. Then we'll show a countdown timer on each listing, so they know exactly how much time they have. Like, kind of creates a sense of urgency. And then there are a couple of other features you can do if you already have an offer on the property. And if I go in and try to submit an offer, it'll just notify me, hey, there's already a couple of offers. It'll just show a badge of multiple offers. So this way, again, it creates a little bit of competition. And then if I'm submitting an offer of, let's say, 200,000, someone has already submitted a higher offer, it'll just notify me as a buyer, there's already higher offers, so you may want to consider putting in a higher offer. It'll still let you submit a lower offer. It won't tell you how much the other higher offer is, but it'll just notify you, hey, just so that you know there's other higher offers on this property, so you may want to up your offer. So just those sort of things we've already built in just to get you the highest and best price on the property.
Yeah, that sounds really helpful. So you're saying that buyers can actually bid on the website and the platform, and those offers go directly to the wholesaler.
Exactly.
They see them as they come in and ultimately choose the highest and best offer.
Exactly. Yeah. And the buyer, when submitting an offer, they can upload any documents also. If they have, proof of funds, if they have the LLC documentation, they can submit them when putting in their offer, and it just comes right into REsimpli, and then you can just review that. So someone might have put an offer of, let's say, 200,000, but the proof of funds only shows 100,000. You may not want to accept that offer, versus a buyer who submits an offer of 198 but has $500,000 in his bank account. So you have all that information that you can ask for your buyers to submit.
Yeah, and I mean, that just gives you the confidence to go with, hey, this offer might be a little higher, but if this buyer doesn't have a solid proof of funds, maybe they're not even submitting a proof of funds whatsoever, then you're like, hey, maybe this isn't the buyer that I want to actually assign this contract to.
Exactly.
And so you mentioned there's like some contract management within REsimpli. So is that something that, hey, if the wholesaler does choose a great offer, they can now send an assignment contract to that buyer, any other paperwork that they need, that can all be facilitated within the software?
Yeah, exactly. So they can send all the paperwork to the seller and to the buyer all within REsimpli. So, and then it's all organized by each property that you have, each lead that you have. So if a buyer submits an offer, then once you're ready to accept the offer, you can just send them an assignment contract within REsimpli, and they sign it, and it just gets attached with that specific property. Then you can just move it along the pipeline. And then even like pictures and videos that you have for properties, it can all be saved within REsimpli. Like for me in my business, a lot of investors, we're not even using Google Drive, Dropbox, nothing. All the pictures, videos, everything gets uploaded within REsimpli, and that's where I kind of access everything from. And it's like very similar to how you would use Google Drive or Dropbox, shareable link. You can send that shareable link to someone outside of the company, and they can upload pictures and videos on that link, and it just gets synced up with the property that you have. So you don't even have to use, Google Drive, Dropbox, anything. It just automatically syncs up.
Yeah, that sounds really helpful. It seems like if you're an investor, you're usually trying to manage a lot of different programs, but this is somewhere where this is probably the main dashboard that you'll actually go to for your business on a day-to-day basis.
Yep. Yeah, that was the goal from the beginning. It was like I'm not using any other software other than REsimpli. Like nothing for website, dialer, phone number, anything. Just everyone on my team, from my acquisition manager, from my project manager, lead manager, myself, everyone is in REsimpli. That's where we manage everything from. If you have any, message to send to each other, we'll just send it within REsimpli. They'll tag me on something, I'll go and review it and just reply to it. Just makes it very, very seamless. All the communication is in one place, emails, text, everything. So it makes it super simple, very organized for everyone to just run their business.
That's great. So as a business owner, if you're looking to grow an organization, like a true professional wholesaling organization, hiring acquisitions managers, acquisitions associates, you may have some real estate agents on your team. Is this a software that can facilitate the management of your team and your personnel?
Yep, definitely. We have some teams that are doing 40, 50 deals a month, and they have 5, 6, 7 acquisition manager on their team. And the owner is not involved in the day-to-day part of the business. He's at a very high level managing the business from the KPIs, and he's making decisions based on the KPIs. He's looking at what acquisition manager is actually getting me deals, how much money I'm putting into marketing, how much money I'm making, which marketing channel is working for me, which one is not working, cost per deal, cost per lead, ROI, all of that, and that's where the owner is making the decision from. So yeah, you can definitely manage your team, a larger team within REsimpli.
Yeah, that's really crucial for, like you said, the business owner looking to see, hey, which marketing channel is the most profitable? Right. Where am I spending these marketing dollars, and where am I getting the best return? And so once you identify that, maybe you can trim some of the fat, prune what's not working, and then really double down on those 100%. Most effective marketing campaigns.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. To some extent, what we do as real estate investors is more of a marketing business than anything else. And if you can be more efficient, if you can be better at marketing than other investors in your marketing, knowing exactly kind of what you said, knowing which marketing is working, doubling down on those and cutting out ones that are not working, you're going to have such a huge advantage. So versus your competitor, if you're spending $1 on your marketing, you're making 5x, and your competitor is only making 4x. Like imagine how much advantage do you have? And then if you can just take it from 5x to 6x to 7x, that's where you really, all the money that's you're additionally making, it goes right into your net profit. So that's marketing is absolutely, we say, the most important number to track in your business. It's like your cost per lead, cost per deal, and ROI.
For sure, because if you spend money on marketing, you're not guaranteed a return. Right. And that's why a lot of people don't get into it, because it is scary if you're burning money. Especially if you're not tracking those dollars and where they're being returned, then you're basically just blindly burning through cash. So the ability to track it, keep it all in one place, and then compare it against other channels, whether it is more free channels like the MLS or through referrals or even other wholesalers, versus some of the paid marketing metrics, now you can actually analyze and just see what really works. Whereas if you're just blindly doing it, you'll never know, and you might end up losing a lot of money or just maybe getting lucky, and then you won't really know how to grow and scale and reinvest back in the business.
100%. Yeah, let's say if you, even within direct mail, like let's say if you have 2 lists, you have an absentee list and you have a probate list, and you have 1,000 records in each list. You combine them, and let's say you spend $2,000 sending direct mail. You get a deal out of it, you make $10,000. You're like, this is fantastic. I spent $2,000 and I made $10,000. But how do you know, was it the absentee list or the probate list? Should you have even mailed to the absentee or probate list? Which list should you mail out to? So that's where it becomes super important. If you have different tracking numbers, and now just imagine if you use different phone numbers and you find out that from your absentee list, you got 50 calls but 0 appointment, but your probate list, you only got 10 calls, but you have 5 solid appointments. You made 5 offers, but you got 1 deal out. So it was actually a probate list that made you money. So it was actually, you didn't have to spend $2,000 to make $10,000. You could have just spent $1,000 to make the same $10,000. So now imagine you do this next month and month after, how much your ROI would be better. And now you're looking to expand. If you're looking to expand more into your market or going to a different market, you have the data to prove that you should start out with a probate list over absentee list, because you can make 10x on the money versus blended 5x on the money. So that's where like tracking your numbers gives you a huge advantage over your competitor, which, you know, they might be on a whole, they might be saying, oh, we're making money, we're spending 2,000, making 10,000, but they're spending extra $1,000 every month that they don't need to. They're not tracking it, where you have a huge advantage, where you can just really crush your competition and going deeper into the list that's working for you.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense, you know. And speaking of, you know, becoming great at marketing, you know, a lot of investors that we work with, that we know, they'll actually delegate some of that marketing to other companies or other agencies. You know, they're spending their time on the rehabbing, you know, the acquisition, and just, you know, more on like the day-to-day, the real estate side. But if you are delegating those marketing tasks to another company, is there a pretty seamless integration? Like you could just simply hand them the phone numbers, you hand them their website, and then they can run with it, right?
Yeah, they can do that, or all the data is tracked within REsimpli. Like as the lead comes in, as they're calling, as you have your leads calling or texting a phone number, we track all the data where it came from. You can put in your marketing spend number, you can put in your revenue number, like really track your cost per lead, cost per deal, and ROI. At the end of the day, when you're starting out, the most important number you want to look at is for every dollar that you're putting into marketing, how much money you're making. Even if you're doing MLS, right? You might be, you know, if you have a deal that you're working with an agent, let's say you close a deal with an agent, next time you send them like a small personalized gift, you know, that goes towards your marketing in a way. And then next time the agent has a pocket listing, they're going to call you before they call someone else. So you want to start tracking some of those things to know exactly what's working in your business, rather than just going blind and saying, hey, I spent $100,000 and I made $500,000, which is great. But did you really have to spend $100,000? Could you have just spent $10,000 and made the same $500,000, and then remaining $90,000 goes right into your net profit?
Yeah, absolutely. Besides the marketing spend versus the return, are there any other like business metrics that it tracks as far as, you know, offers sent, you know, counter offers received, things like that, that are besides the financials and the marketing?
Yeah, you can do that. You can see how many total leads you had, how many of those actually became qualified leads, you know, how many of those you had an appointments on, how many of those you made an offer on, and then within each property you can track for offers that you're making, how many counter offers you're getting back. So you can, let's say you make an offer on an MLS deal for 100,000, the seller comes back with 125, you can put that data in. Then you go back at 105, the seller comes back at 120. So you can track all of that, and our system will tell you, you know, what's the difference between your last offer and versus the last counter offer. So you can kind of start keeping an eye on that number also.
So how long does it take to set up everything, you know, from someone who's just joining and just starting out, to get everything dialed in to where it's firing off on all cylinders?
I mean, to like set up your account, buy phone numbers, like less than 5 minutes. The only thing that's outside of our control is the A2B10 DLC registration. So, you know, we need the approval from the carriers, which can take about a week. But as far as getting your account set up and starting to call your leads, you could be up and running in 5 minutes, literally. Yeah. So once you set up your account, you can just buy phone numbers, start calling right from the system.
Yeah, that's great. For speed of implementation, it's like, hey, you just log in and you can get rocking and rolling. So,
yeah.
Well, awesome. Like now that we know all these features, I'm really curious to see how it works and what it looks like. So Sharad, if you don't mind just taking us through a walkthrough of the software.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying what we're talking about so far, I want to make you a special offer. You can try it REsimpli for 14-day free, no cost. If you would like to use the software, then you get 50% off the first month. It's a special offer just for you guys. You can join that by clicking on the link in the video description.
Wow, that's very generous. So you guys be sure to click the link below in the description so you can get that free trial and 50% off your first month. Well, let's dive right into the demonstration.
All right, so Brian, this is what the dashboard looks like. This is where what we built is to make sure that you never ever miss a deal or a lead that you have in your pipeline. So this is a demo account, so I don't have 370 tasks due, I promise you that. So it'll show you how many total tasks you have and how many of those tasks are related to leads. How many new leads you've had come in since the last time you checked the system or you haven't cleared it out. How many open messages? Open messages are the messages that you have leads in your pipeline and they either are new leads or existing lead that sent you a message. So you could have a lead that you may have moved into warm follow-up and they send you a message. It'll pop up as an open message so you never miss that lead. And then we have like how many buyers you're communicating with, how many buyer inbox messages that you have buyers that have texted you about a deal that you're wholesaling. Internal inbox, that's your internal communication that you're having with your team. Think of it like Slack communication that you're having with your team that you haven't cleared out. And when you're buying or selling a property, how many contingencies that you have. You can track your contingencies by clicking right here, how many are passed to you, what's the contingency, property address, and all that good stuff. And this right here, abandoned leads, make sure that you never ever miss a lead. So it tells you for all the leads that you have in your pipeline, all different statuses, how many new leads I have in my pipeline that are not on drip, that don't have a pending task, and leads that don't have a drip or a pending task.
So what is a drip campaign for those who don't know what it is?
So drip campaigns is basically a follow-up sequence. Think of it as steps that you would want. If you have a lead that comes in, then you want to have a sequence of steps to follow up with. Let's say a month later, you want to call the lead. A month after that, you want to text the lead. And then a month later, you want to email the lead. Now you can automate all of that, and we call it drip sequence. It'll just keep dripping the seller automatically until the seller is interested to sell the property. If I have a lead, like for example, under contract, I have 15 leads that are not on drip and 2 don't have a pending task. And 2 leads don't have a drip, don't have a pending task, meaning nobody's working on it. So these are the leads you want to make sure that someone is working on these leads. If it's anything more than 0, that means nobody's working on those leads. So that's where we make sure that you kind of stay on top of your leads. And this is the conversion trend. Let me change the time period here for last year. You can kind of see what that data looks like, how many leads you had, how many of those converted into appointments, offers, contract. You can click right here and see all the data. Where did all your leads come from? And then you'll call and SMS stats that you have right here. What percent of your call did you connect with? So you can really deep dive into it. This is like your home dashboard. Like anytime you're lost, you want to come here and see kind of what's going on with your business. And then right here we have more KPIs that you can track about your business. What's your goal for the year? How much revenue you've generated? Again, this is just beginning of the year, so there's nothing. But if I went back at last year, for example, it'll show me some data, like how many deals did I do last year? What was my goal versus how much revenue did I make? What was my net income goal versus how much money did I make? And again, more KPIs. Where are most of my deals coming from? What's the best ROI channel for me? What's my cost per lead, cost per deal, how much money I spent in marketing, how much revenue I've generated, and my marketing ROI. And then you can deep dive into it by every single marketing channel that you have. So you can look at and see which marketing channel is actually working for you the best. You can deep dive into cold direct mail, for example. You spent $4,000 on probate list and $6,000 other lists, how much money you've made. You can see all the leads, what we were talking about earlier, tracking all the data, how many leads I had, how many of those were qualified leads, how many appointments, how many offers. You can click on all of these and see, which ones you made offers on, which ones you got under contract, which ones you actually ended up closing. Your conversion KPI, how many leads you need to make an appointment, how many appointments before you make an offer, your cost per lead, cost per deal, and ROI. So if you look at this, if you were doing direct mail, total blended for $10,000, you made, $13.67 for every dollar. But once you deep dive into it, you notice that it's this list, other list that's actually performing twice as well as my probate list that I have. So that's where you want to put more money into. So you can track all of this. There's more lead data that you can track. What's the timeline between the lead is created to the time you go on appointment to offer made, and how long from offer made to under contract, how long does it take from under contract to the time you assign a deal. And more KPIs, if you have a team, then you can track the leaderboard, who is bringing in the most revenue, what's the average revenue they're bringing in, how many deals they're closing, contract, this is all clickable, what's their average call duration, what's their total call duration. And then right here, if you're going on seller appointments, you can track all of it, how many appointments you had, how many in-person appointments, how many were kept, how many are not kept. So if I just quickly filter it to last year, you can just click and see, all right, I had 2 in-person appointments and then 2 of them were not kept. So you can see which one was it. You can click on it and go to that specific property and see what happened. And then 1 phone appointment, which no one updated the result of that appointment. So you can kind of keep track of what's going on with the appointments that you have. So that's on the dashboard side of it. You don't have to update any of this manually. All of this, as you're moving the lead within REsimpli from one stage to the other, it will keep updating automatically.
That was the thing I actually wanted to ask you about. Is there's a lot of great data in here. This gives you transparency into every part of the business, but the data that it's showing is just as good as what's going into it.
Exactly.
So how is it getting updated? And there's
Absolutely.
there's the marketing spend. There's obviously the contract pipeline that's being moved forward. So like how does that change and how does that reflect?
Yeah,
into
so
the
this is the
dashboard?
CRM side of REsimpli. When you get a lead, every lead goes into new leads. So it's super simple. Let's say you get someone to call you or text you. That automatically goes into new leads. And when you click on it, all your communication, if you have any, will be with the lead right here. And then you can customize the questions that you have. If you're talking to an agent, you want to have different set of questions you're asking, versus if you're talking to a motivated homeowner, then you're asking different set of questions. So you can customize the questions that you want to ask depending on the user or the seller that you're talking to. If you're talking to an agent, have different questions. So you can build those out. You can build it out in the form of a script. You can have drop downs, radio button answers. So you can just easily go in and then just, make it very natural. Hey, agent, how long has the property been listed for? Why do you think the property hasn't sold? So you can fill all of that out and then just start filling the answers right here. And then this is where you can just call, text, and email right from within the platform. So once the lead comes in, we attach a new lead date to it. And if I move it to a new status, it will ask me, for example, if I move it to offer made, it'll ask me, okay, how much are you offering? So it'll just prompt you. You cannot move it to offer made without putting in. So it's super easy. Let's say I put 150,000 and I, made this offer, let's say today. Now what will happen is based on this information, the system knows the lead was created on December 13th. I'm making an offer today, so I'll know, okay, from the time, it's been 28 days from the time the lead came in to the time you made an offer, and you're making an offer of 150,000, you're making a verbal offer. And once you go in there, then you can update right here, your different offers. So if you have a counter offer, then you can just add it right here. The seller offer, when did the seller come back? Let's say they come back today and they come back with a verbal of 175,000. So you can add it here and then you can see how much time, the same day they came back and you're $25,000. So you can just keep going back and forth, keep putting more information, and then it keeps track of all the individual property that you have, all the offers that you have. And then this is what your communication would look like for any lead. If a seller sends you, text you picture on a property, it will automatically get saved in the files. So all the pictures that they've sent will automatically get saved right here. And then you can just, browse the pictures right here. You can create a shareable link if you wanted to share these pictures with anyone, just like you would use Google Drive or Dropbox. You can decide on the permission. A lot of times what the investors would do is they would create this, view and add new files, send that link to the seller. The seller can open it on their phone, just upload pictures right into that link. And as soon as they upload pictures, it would get saved right here. And then all the communication that you have, email that you've sent out, any calls, SMS, everything is saved right here. You can just click right here, listen to the call recording that you have. And then you have all your files and e-sign documents that you're sending on what we talked about, sending contracts from the system. You can send them from right here just by going and clicking send for e-sign. And then once the seller signs it, it automatically gets saved right within the system. And yeah, so this is where, once the lead is created, you're managing everything. It automatically adds the lead source and campaign. So you may be doing, MLS deals, and you may be doing different things on MLS. For example, you may be doing, a postcard strategy, or you may be doing, meeting the agent in person. So you can track different on how you're reaching out to the agents based on different marketing that you're doing to them and see which one is actually working better for you. You can add tags and stuff, different lead statuses, and then what your exit is on that property. If you're going to do fix and flip, wholesale, turnkey, whatever you might want to do, you can track all of that. And then this is what your lead pipeline would look like, from new leads and then you can customize these last two stages are fixed and the first one is fixed, but everything in between you can customize in your business. And then again, if you're moving a lead to under contract, we'll ask some information. When did the property go under contract, for how much, when is the scheduled closing date. There's some task that gets triggered based on these specific dates you can set up. And then based on that, it'll keep track of the KPI also within REsimpli. So we made it super, super simple, like prompt you right on time when you're pushing that lead over to the next stage, because that's when it's most relevant to input that information. So you don't have to go back, a month or 2 months later and input that information.
So let me ask you something, Sharad. How customizable is this dashboard? Let's say we have an investor who has different stages than exactly what's in here. Is there a way to change the way that these are labeled and
you can change
add
this.
some more fields?
Yeah, you can change this. Like, there's still no progress. Let's say you want to say made first offer. If you're making, MLS deals, so you can call it made first offer. Then it'll keep track of, based on that, it'll update in throughout the system. But we figure the new leads, offer made and under contract, those are more universal for everyone. So that's what everyone would want to kind of keep track of. But if you wanted to, appointments set, due diligence, all of these 4 can be customized within the system. Okay. So that's the CRM side of it. You can buy your phone number right here. Just go into manage numbers and then click on buy number. So whatever area code you need the number for, you can just type in. And then it'll pull up all the phone numbers that are available. And you can choose if you're using this phone number to market to your sellers, buyers, or REsimpli dialer that we have, or vendors. So let's say if I use this number, then it'll ask me right here, okay, what marketing channel within seller you're going to use it for. Let's say cold calling, and then you can select the call flow when someone calls back on this number. How do you want the call to be routed? So you can choose all of that and give it a campaign name. Let's say this is my probate list. And you can name that. And now anytime a lead is created on this specific phone number, it will be assigned to cold calling probate list. So this is a tracking number, and you can buy as many as you want. We have investors that have like hundreds of phone numbers because they really want to know every single marketing channel. If they're testing something new, they want to know, okay, I'm doing this new direct mail campaign, this specific postcard. They want to get into that level of detail. And they'll buy a specific phone number for that campaign and just test it out to see how much money they made or how well it performed. So that's kind of how you buy your phone numbers. And then we have, on the marketing side, we have list stacking. So for anyone that's not familiar with list stacking, so think of, if you're buying lists from different marketing channels, different sources. You have lists that you're getting from within REsimpli driving for dollars. You have lists that you're getting from your probate list, your absentee list. Now, you may have 1,000 records on each of the lists, but what list stacking does, it stacks all those lists and tells you if there's any overlap between those lists that you have. So it is possible that the 1,000 records that you have from driving for dollars, absentee and probate, they may all be the same record. So it tells you that each seller has 3 motivation points. So that's how we like to think of a list, is every motivation point. So absentee would be one motivation, vacant would be another motivation, probate would be another motivation. So if everything else being equal, let's say you have 3,000 records, you stack them and you find out 500 overlap between 3 lists. So you would want to go after those 500 records before you go after the other records, because those 500 records have 3 motivation points: absentee, distressed property based on driving for dollars, and then your probate list. So there's higher likelihood that those 500 people would want to sell their properties before the other other sellers that we have. So that's what list stacking does. And then once you stack your list, you can push it right here to REsimpli dialer, or you can send direct mail from within REsimpli. And once you push it to dialer, it just creates a campaign. You can click right here, upload your list, and then just start dialing from right within REsimpli. You can upload your list right here, call script right here, and you can totally customize it. You can add as many scripts as you want. If you're talking to agents, you would want to have a different script versus if you're talking to probate sellers versus if you're talking to absentee sellers. So you can do that. And then you can also send direct mail from within right here. You can just go into list stacking, select the records that you want to send direct mail to, and just click on send direct mail, order direct mail, and it'll just walk you through. This one I don't have an address, but yeah, I'll just walk you through. Let me just take this one, order direct mail. It'll just ask you the campaign name, test. Let's say I'm just sending 1 mail piece. Test 1. And then you can choose from all these postcard templates that we have. We have all these different templates. Then we have text postcards and a bunch of different text postcard templates. This is what each of the templates look like. You can totally customize it. If you have something that you have custom postcard or letter that you would rather use, just select custom template and just put a note that, email us the file or put a, Google Drive or link right here, and we can customize it. We have graphic designers on our team. We'll create a custom postcard or letter for you, and then we'll send that out. And yeah, you can just click right here, send, put in your information. You can just choose from one of the phone numbers within REsimpli that you have in your account. What phone number do you want on that specific postcard or letter? That's the phone number that will go right here. Put in your information, click next, and then just place the order, and then we'll send it out on your behalf.
So if you want to put your own company branding or your logo, that's some of the customization that your team can do.
Yeah, or if you have like a postcard that you'd really like, you just take a picture, send it to us. We'll create that postcard for you free of charge. You don't have to pay us anything. We'll just create that, and it'll be your file. You keep it for any future use that you have. But if you have, you want to upload your logo, your signature, you can just upload it right here and we'll add it to you. Before we mail anything, we'll send you a PDF soft proof just so that you can have a look at it and make sure everything looks good. Okay. And then we also offer a website. This is what our website looks out of the gate. It's A2B10 DLC compliant. This is what it looks like. So you can just use this website free of charge. All you have to do is just get your own domain name, and then just go in REsimpli and then just walk through the process of linking your website, CNAME and all that good stuff. And then, yep, that's your website. You can just start using it for marketing purposes, giving that website to your contacts that you have. Anytime someone goes here and fills out a form, it automatically comes into REsimpli. So anytime they fill a form right here, they call this number, they text this number, it automatically creates a lead. And the cool thing is you can do a lot of automations. You can have the lead come into your system, and then you can do some cool things by going right here. Depending on the campaign that you have, let's say if I'm doing Google PPC, I can say as soon as the lead is created from my website, I want it to be on this drip sequence, for example. So as soon as somebody goes to my REsimpli website, fills out a form, they will automatically be on a drip sequence. Anybody that's not familiar with the drip campaign, it's basically automated follow-up sequence. There's like 8 to 10 out of the gate that we provide. It's basically telling the system that, hey, from the time I set this up, 1 minute later, send out this SMS. And you can type in, hi, are you still selling your property, right? You can just keep building it out as many steps as you want. And there's some that are already built out in the system. This is what it looked like. 1 minute, send this SMS. Then wait for 1 day, create a task to call the seller and get more information. Then wait 1 hour and then find out more property details. And then wait 2 days, send this email out. And you can select from email templates that you have. Wait 4 minutes, send this direct mail piece out. So you can do a lot of this customization. This is where I would say the most important feature. If you're not using any other feature, this would be the one I would say definitely use it. This is the one where I've noticed I've closed on deals that came like 2 or 3 years after the lead was created. I've closed on those deals, not by doing anything, just putting them on a drip campaigns. When they're ready to sell, just send us a text message or call us, and then we just move them to active pipeline and just make an offer and start working from there. So this, I would say, hands down, the most favorite feature that our REsimpli users have is the automated follow-up sequence in REsimpli. Yeah, so this would be the leads part of it.
Yeah, that's supremely valuable. And so it sounds like you can do an SMS, you can do a postcard, you can do several different marketing, email.
You can set up reminders to call you, reminders for your team members to call. You can do RVM. Or like once you set it up, like you want to make sure you set it up correctly, depending on the situation. So if you have a follow-up sequence for, let's say you go on an appointment with an agent, you make an offer, but the agent, says, no, the seller is not interested. So you want to have a different follow-up sequence for that situation versus a follow-up sequence for an offer that you make and you get 1 counter from the seller, but then the seller decides not to make the second counter. You may want to have a different, different drip campaign for that because it's a different situation. Or one where you made an appointment, but for some reason the agent didn't show up. You want to have a different drip campaign for those sort of situations.
So the different campaign is activated based on the status of that lead?
You could do it based on the status, or you could do based on the situation also. Depending on, like, how it's very subjective depending on like what kind of drip campaigns you would want to set up. Again, if you're not sure, not overcomplicating, just set up a drip campaign. You could keep it super simple. Just keep it, hey, I'm still interested in buying your property, or I'm still interested in buying your, still interested in your listing that you have at 123 Main Street. Just keep it super simple. The most important thing is you stay in front of that seller, that agent, and then as you get a little bit more experience, then you can start tweaking the messaging. Initially, just keep it super simple. More important than anything else is to be consistent and just keep it simple message. Hey, I'm still interested in your listing. Has your seller, would your seller consider my offer? Something like that. Just you could be the same message worded differently and just keep sending that a few times. Yeah. And then, so let's say once you get that property under contract, now you're wholesaling. Now there's a different pipeline for your wholesale deal. So it would be, you have new contract, you're marketing to your buyers, you're showing it to your buyers, evaluating offers, accepted offers, clear to close. So what we were talking about earlier, we also provide a website for your disposition side of it. And this is what the website would look like. It's all included, free of charge. You just have to get your custom domain, could be anything. And then this is what your website would look like. This is what it looks like out of the gate. You can change your picture, whatever you want to customize. But if you go into any listing that you have, this is what the listing would look like. For example, I had a timeline going on for this property. It's a no longer accepting offer because I had set a timeline. So if I try to make an offer, I'll just say offer submission is passed. But you can add pictures right here. You can add, so this one shows I have 42 days left to make an offer. So I can add pictures, I can add videos. The more pictures and videos that you have, the higher likelihood of you receiving an offer on the property. So this is your own, like each listing would have its own URL. So you can set that up, just share it with your buyer database that you have. You can put in the property details, the information on the property, ARV, the price, the spread, and then what I was talking about, like the more pictures and documentation that you provide. If you have comps to support this ARV, then put it right here. If you have some information on how you came up with an estimated rehab number, then include a estimate from a contractor so people can just download and then view that. Just makes it much easier, less questions. The more information you can provide, the better it is. And then as someone wants to make an offer, they can just go right here. They can put their information and they can attach any documents like proof of funds and stuff and submit their offer. They can do all that cool things. And then this would be your buyer database. So let's say if I have my buyers that I want to reach out to, and then I can just select them and I can say, all right, I want to bulk email all of them with a property that I have. I'll take you through the steps of that. You can include a link to your website and say, hey, check out a new property. Or you could just say, I want to send a bulk text message to all of these buyers. And then you can just say, all right, I want to send to these people from which number, 123 Main Street. And you can say, check our new listing at, and then you can just copy this link and put it right here and just send it out to your buyers. And then they'll just go to the website and then they can just interact right there, submit offers or any questions they have. You could host open houses right here if you wanted to, and then they can just click on attend open house. So you can manage your buyers, any vendors that you have, title companies that you're working with, contractors that you're working, you can manage all of those, that database right here. And then these are some other things, drip campaigns, and then you have your e-sign, the templates that you can upload. So contracts that you're sending out within the system, you can manage that, all of that from right here. And this would be the banking side of it. So I used to be an accountant, so it's important for me to truly make it an all-in-one software. So you can literally link up your bank account. I don't even use QuickBooks in my business.
Really?
I don't, yeah. Everything, all my banking and everything is done right here. We actually have a lot of investors that don't use QuickBooks anymore, because once they start using this, they see how much powerful the data is. Because the more data that you have in the system, the better informed decisions that you can make. So you can click on link bank account. So this is a test account, but it will link up your bank account. You can download just how you do in QuickBooks, but it's built specifically for real estate investors. So very, very specific reporting for real estate investors. So
it can create a profit and loss statement.
Yep.
Can you hook up your credit cards,
Yep.
your bank account statements,
Yep.
and then a balance sheet, P&L?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't use any QuickBooks in my business at all. So my bookkeeper goes in, she inputs the books right here, and the projects that I'm rehabbing, I'll just go into the financial tab and see all the money that's been spent. So this is how I manage my business, but just going into financial tab and going into each specific property, how much money I spent, very, very detailed reporting on that side. So I don't have to worry about, okay, let's just export the data, then, have someone, filter it in Excel and then kind of look at the data. No, it's right there. It's like that seamless integration. So yeah, I don't even use, like when I said I don't use anything for my business, I literally don't use anything else for my business.
I can see how that's really valuable if you're spending money on different properties, maybe using the same credit card, so you can tag those expenses to different properties, and then it'll all populate within.
Exactly. So as you use the system more, it'll start learning kind of, when you're spending money to this vendor, what property it's for. Then it'll just start automating some of that, and you can just go in and confirm. So you don't have to keep inputting the same information over and over again.
Yeah. And is that also how you're classifying certain expenses for different marketing campaigns? Can you also do that?
Yeah, exactly. So you would go in, let's say if I have this, this bank account that I have, like this is the manual bank account, but I could just go in and say, all right, where did I make this money from? Let's say if I spend this money instead of this, I spend this money on ABC marketing. And then if it's for a marketing expense, I can do direct mail. Then it'll ask me, okay, which campaign within direct mail? So as I update this, it's updating the KPIs in real time throughout the system. So it's giving you exactly down to the penny your KPI number on cost per lead, cost per deal, and ROI. So yeah, that's where the magic happens. As you integrate more into the system, you really start getting some good insight about your business.
Yeah, I can see it. That helps automate the process, because if you're having to check your bank statement and then you're manually plugging in the numbers into there, I can see how that gets a little tedious and creates a lot of friction. So then ultimately, if that data doesn't translate into the CRM, then it's not going to be very helpful.
Absolutely. And then if you look at QuickBooks is not built for real estate investors, right? It'll give you, general business P&L. But if I asked you to go into QuickBooks and tell me a cost per lead or cost per lead, you would not be able to tell me that. It's not possible. That's not what QuickBooks was built for. The way we built our platform is just everything from marketing, your dialer, your website, your list stacking, to CRM side of it. It all speaks with each other. And as more you start using it, the more insight you start getting into your business. Yeah, so that's where the magic happens for us. Is as you're calling and texting, you're moving the lead from one stage to another. All of the data is getting updated within the system. So that's a very high-level overview of REsimpli. But if you have any question, let's say you're getting started, we offer free onboarding calls, unlimited onboarding calls. You can just, when you sign up, you'll get an email from someone on our team to book an onboarding call with. And then if you're not, you can just click right here. If you want to book an onboarding call, I'll show you the calendar availability for our team. And you can book as many as you want. There's no limit to it. You can book as many calls as you want. And then if you have any questions, we have, help.resimpli.com, where we update regularly, and you can just go in and ask, just search for anything, let's say list stacking, and then it'll give you everything that matches with it. How to upload, how list stacking leads integration works, how to use list stacking data. So it goes into a lot of detail. And then we also have live chat. If you just wanted to live chat with someone on our team, you could just do right here, and someone from our team will get back to you. You can text us, you can call us. There's a few different ways you can get in touch with us.
Yeah, that's very helpful, because I could see how someone who's just starting out, who's looking at all these great features, can get very overwhelming, especially as you're trying to customize it for your business. And so having that support, especially those onboarding calls, seem very helpful, because then you actually get a live person when you need them, dedicated to helping you solve that problem that you have.
Yeah, and then you can book as many onboarding calls as you want. There's no limit to it. Regardless of the plan that you're on, you can book as many as you want. Let's say this week you want to just start using the dialer. You can set up a call with our team just to help you use the dialer, help you get started with it. Next week, you want to get your website set up. If you're not technical, it's super simple. But even if you're like, hey, I just want to buy my domain and you do the rest, just email us. We'll link up your website, make sure it's working, so it's all up and running for you. So we'll make sure we help you get the value from REsimpli to make sure that everything you need is up and running for you.
That's great, because it's obviously very sophisticated, custom tailored software for real estate investors. Right. So if someone who's not very tech savvy wants to get all the benefits of this great leverage tool, then it sounds like your team is there to help. Absolutely. They just buy a domain, which is pretty simple.
Yep.
they can hand it off to your team,
Yep.
and then you
And
can
then we'll take care
basically
of
set
it.
everything up,
Exactly.
walk them through any customization, and
Yeah, whatever they need. If they're like, hey, how do I change the color, from red to blue, we can do it for you. We can just send you a quick Loom video, and then we'll say, hey, just go into this account, click here, and then this is how you can do it. Yeah. So we want to make sure at the end of the day, anybody that's using REsimpli is getting value out of it, and then our goal is to help you close more deals. So whatever we can do within our power to help you close more deals is what we want to do. So if you have any questions, we have very large CS teams who will make sure we help you along the way with whatever questions you have. Call us, text us, book a call, jump on a call with us, and we'll make sure we help you, answer any questions you have.
is there like one, is there one roadblock that people hit, or is there one pain point that you get like more support tickets on, or that people like kind of stumble into, or is there any like section of the setup or anything that maybe?
I think lately it's been like the A2P 10 DLC registration. I think just people getting used to the new way of doing business, that they have to have a company set up, they have to have an EIN, which is outside of our control. So we made our website very A2P 10 DLC compliant. We have this opt-in language that you need. So all you need is your domain, the domain name, and we'll take care of it. But even after that, the investors would still have question, hey, why do I need an EIN number? And we tell them it's a requirement from the carriers now. There's nothing we can do in order to send a text message. So that's where we've noticed most of the questions from. But as far as the REsimpli side of it, I think it's like getting started, like not knowing where to start. And that's why, when you sign up now, you'll get a text message from one of your account managers just to make sure. They say, hey, Ryan, welcome to REsimpli. Here's my contact information. Let me know if you have any questions. And have you booked an onboarding call? If not, let me know. I'll book an onboarding call for you. They'll check in like a couple of days later. Have you booked that call? If not, these are some resources you can go and like kind of get self-started on your own. When you sign on for the first time, we have a course right here. It doesn't show right here, but when you sign in for the first time, it'll actually show like 20, 25 like very short videos, like 2 to 3 minutes each, on just getting started with REsimpli. Hey, this is how you buy a phone number. If you have some leads that you're importing, this is how you do it. This is how you add records into list stacking. This is how you set up your data. Just like very, very basic courses that we have, basic setup. You'll have a video tutorial on how to get started with that. But again, if you would rather just jump on a call with a live person, you can just set up a call with us and we'll jump on a call with you right away.
Awesome. I think one thing that I'm curious about is the driving for dollars feature. I know we didn't get into that yet, but is that something that's only on the mobile app?
Yes.
Like, is there a mobile app?
There is, yes. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so there is a native iOS and Android app that we have, and driving for dollar is included in every single plan. All you have to do is just go into driving for dollar plan, and then you'll have the single driver is $0. So just make sure you activate it. And then you go into your iOS or Android app, you'll see that option to just start using it. And anytime you add a property in your driving for dollar, it automatically gets added to your list stacking. So it just automatically starts stacking. If you add a property, it'll tell you, hey, this is already in list stacking, or this is already a lead in the system that you have. So it gives you a lot of information as you're driving around, and it keeps track of all your driving routes that you have. If you have multiple team members, they're driving, different routes, then you can filter by that, like who drove what street, and then how often have you driven in last few months, so you can keep track of all of that. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have it on the web, but yeah, it's included on iOS and Android app.
Yeah, awesome. And I see you can go up to 100 drivers, so it's really built to scale. If you want to recruit a team of drivers who are driving around neighborhoods, whether it's you partner up with a postman,
Exactly. So you
or
can do all of that,
delivery person, you can incentivize them as they're driving neighborhoods. Hey, you see a potential opportunity, they can add it to your list, and then you can start doing some marketing to them, getting in front of that owner.
Yeah, for someone who's just getting started, like having even one driver included, you can those are absolutely free leads. You don't have to pay for it. You just start driving around, start adding those leads into your platform, and just start, marketing to them. There's nothing you're paying for them. So I say at least someone who's starting out, at least utilize that, right? It's just like the free marketing that we're giving you. Utilize that and start leveraging that, right? If you see a property that distressed, like property that has, a tarp on its roof and it's been like that for like few months or a year, there's a pretty good chance that the owner may want to sell. and now you have owner's information. You can just call them right from the app. You can skip this and call them right from the app, like while standing in front of their property.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly powerful. And I'm sure like everyone watching this has seen those eyesore properties that are probably a good opportunity. You know, if a property is being neglected, they're not taking care of it, they might have a motivation to sell. So someone else can give that property some love and actually get it performing as a rental, or fixing and flip it to a nice family who would actually take care of the property. So for someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money in the marketing, what they could do is, like you're saying, they could drive the neighborhood, walk around the neighborhood, just identify those properties, and then give those owners a call, right? That's very low cost. And
yeah, or just like kind of what you guys teach. I think that's fantastic for someone starting out. At least start reaching out to listing properties. Like the only way to score is to play the game, right? That's the minimum requirement that you have, is like you have free leads from Driving for Dollars. Like the MLS leads are free. You can just start texting and calling the agent. Just start working those relationships. You may not get the listed property now, but they may have another one that, you know, where the seller is more motivated and they don't even want to list that property. They just want to get it done. They may call you. But the only way for that to happen is if you stay in touch with the agents or the sellers.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a numbers game, so you got to be involved. You got to be making offers, talking to people, real estate agents, sellers. And then ultimately you create your own luck. So the more 100%. You do it, the more opportunities you'll 100%. Get, the more deals you'll close.
Yep, 100%.
So we can tell that REsimpli is an amazing solution. Sharad, thanks for the very detailed demonstration of it. I'm sure there's a lot of features that we didn't even get to cover today. Like the list goes on. So, I mean, let's just get into what this all really would cost for someone who wants to invest in the software to ultimately scale their business. Like what would that look like as far as the investment into REsimpli?
Yeah, so anywhere from, like, depending on the team side, it's $99 all the way up to like $500. But $99, even the $99 plan includes kind of pretty much everything I showed you. It includes the website for your sellers, for your buyers. It includes certain phone numbers that you can use to call it. It includes you know, the CRM, the buyer management, the bookkeeping, everything. So it's $99 plan for someone who's starting out. It's more than enough that they need, even to scale to a certain point. Once they hire additional team member, then they can go into the next, you know, from basic to the pro plan. But it goes from $99 to all the way up to $500 if they pay for the year. But if they pay just monthly, it goes up to $749. So we get pretty significant discount for someone who's paying for the year.
Definitely. And if you're going to utilize a program like this, then you're going to want to have a more longer term approach. It takes a while to populate the CRM, to do the marketing, get it set up. And so there's a very quick turnaround from when you actually sign up to when you can get this running and actually implement in your business. So that's what's great about it. And so with that, we have a very special offer. If you click the link in the description, then you can get a free trial of 14 days to try this out for yourself. And then you'll actually get 50% off of your first month or your first bill with REsimpli. So we appreciate the offer for our audience.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much for having me, man. This has been really fantastic. And yeah, anything we can do to add value to your audience, we want to make sure, you know, we're able to help them close more deals. And so we're here to support in any way we can.
You know, Sharad, thanks again for coming out, and it was great to connect like this and learn more about REsimpli. Again, for anyone who's interested, Sharad's made a very generous offer for our audience. Be sure to click the link in the description. You'll be able to try REsimpli with no money out of pocket for 14 days. Just try it out, try all the features, and then you'll get a 50% off discount on your first billing cycle, your first month. So go ahead and give it a shot. There's nothing to lose. We'd love to hear your feedback. As you can tell, Sharad's very engaged in the feedback and is always looking to improve and customize this to help you close more deals. So Sharad, it's a pleasure. Yeah,
thank you
again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This has been fantastic. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Cool. Thank you, man.